Corentin DELLICOUR walks by the European Parliament almost every day. His home is barely 50 meters away, as is his parents' house. Corentin grew up on this block, a stone's throw away from Europe's institutions.
So here we are in front of my childhood home, which was reconstructed after the explosion.
On the 18th of December 1989, an explosion destroyed the family home. Corentin miraculously escaped death, but he lost two of his brothers in the disaster. The cause was a burst gas pipe located next to the gigantic building site for the European Parliament. It was a traumatic event for the whole neighbourhood, especially after it had seen many of its original residents expropriated.
We were faced with a lot of pressure from real estate developers who came here and tore down an entire part of the neighbourhood. Politically, there was a lot at stake. Our district was especially affected by harsh expropriations and hastily taken decisions in terms of city planning. They wanted to build square meters after square meters of office space at any cost.
At the time, developers clamored for a piece of the pie, as the site was ideal for large-scale real estate projects.
Over there, where there's this big building called l'Altiero Spinelli, that was a rail yard.
There was plenty of speculation about this site, so close to other institutions. The start of construction of the European Parliament was shrouded in secrecy. This was to avoid offending France, as the Parliament's official seat remains in Strasbourg. When this architect drew his first sketches, he had no idea he was designing the future European Parliament in Brussels.
At the same time it was happening, everything was being discussed in cozy salons. That's why, when I started taking an interest in this subject at the end of the 80s, we didn't even talk about the European Parliament. We were talking about the semicircle. We called it the ICC, the International Convention Center.
Just over a kilometer away, a chaotic layout surrounds the Schumann roundabout. In the 1960s, an old convent was replaced by the huge headquarters of the European Commission. Just opposite, the European Council, and buildings housing various other institutions. Today, the European Quarter finds little love from Brussels residents. In an attempt to revive this area, which now houses almost nothing but offices, the local authorities even created a Brussels Commissioner for Europe in 2014.
Today, it's practically encoded within our city's DNA that the European presence in Brussels equals brutality. But for that, we cannot blame European institutions because they weren't in charge of things at the time. It was the Belgian state that took a cookie-cutter approach and implemented their plans in a brutal way. It was the central government of the time that made decisions, put the Commission here, the Parliament over there, etc.
The development that will most help this Brussels Commissioner transform the European Quarter might be surprising: the pandemic. With the rise of teleworking, the Commission is looking to decrease its footprint. Over the next decade, it aims to reduce its office space by 25%.
We'll be able to put a whole series of buildings back on the market for other uses, which will considerably change the urban fabric. We can already see it happening. The Schumann roundabout of today isn't the Schumann roundabout of 10 years ago. It's changed a lot. In the area behind me, there's now a pub and some housing too.
That is good news for the European Quarters Committee. This handful of locals have been fighting tooth and nail for 40 years to defend their homes. Sometimes they have felt like David fighting Goliath. But Marco Schmidt believes that it's the institutions themselves who have most to gain from closer integration into the city of Brussels.
For us, it's a question of ensuring that the European institutions are in an urban framework which reflects what we would like these European institutions to be. What I mean is institutions that are well integrated into the urban fabric. That's also symbolic, as they will be well integrated with the European citizenry.
Step by step, cultural life is regaining its foothold in an area once known for the number of artist studios it housed.
This has just opened. It's a residence space for artists.
While he waits for more of these kinds of projects to emerge, Corentin, in his own way, is playing his part in the cultural resurrection of the neighbourhood.